ahead and bring in our featured artist of the night, Michael Wayne Stapleton, hanging out nice and patiently. Thanks for being here on time, man, and hanging out with us and helping us get everything set up. So you're the featured artist this week. How's it going?
It's going great. Thanks for having me on.
Yeah, pleasure. Good to have you. You're in Austin, Texas, correct?
I am. Yes.
Cool. So for those people that are that don't know anything about you, why don't you give us your elevator pitch? Tell us a little bit about your song "Blue Eyes," and then we'll come back get deeper with Dave.
Mm-hmm. Okay. Well, I am a artist and songwriter. I've been songwriting for 30 years now. Haven't really gotten serious about it until lately, and so I just a few years ago just sort of got to the point with my family that everything is to a point where I can start writing and recording and doing it on a regular basis. So
basically all the kids are out of the house.
Yeah, well, almost. We got one more. Yeah.
Cool. So What about Blue Eyes? Tell us just a little bit about Blue Eyes.
Blue Eyes, I grew up in Indiana in a really small town, and Blue Eyes is about me leaving that small town and moving to Las Vegas and meeting my wife.
Hey, Joe. There you go.
Hey, we have a lot to talk about. Real quick, where are you from in Indiana?
Noblesville.
No way. I'm from Howe.
Are you? I know where that is.
We'll have to talk about that later. Anyway, that's cool. That's a small world right there. That's like, what, 30 miles away from each other?
Yeah, about 30 miles.
Now we went to Lakeland High School, and you went to Noblesville, obviously.
Yeah.
Very cool. All right, so Blue Eyes by Michael Wayne Stapleton. Let us know what you think in the comments. Share this video out. We're on Facebook, YouTube, and Periscope tonight. So see you in a minute.
Yellow city lights were bright, cure for my darkness. Buildings were high, like they touched the sky. Oh, my mom didn't raise a fool, but I broke every single rule. She had blue eyes and dreams that defied gravity. She wore no mask, and I knew it would last. We laughed until we cried. She had blue eyes. Yeah. My door was always open, then she stood in it. Changed my mind, that friend I could never find. Oh, I moved away from food. She changed every single rule. She had blue eyes and dreams that defied gravity. She wore no mask, and I knew last. We laughed until we cried. She had blue eyes. Yeah, the concrete is hard.
Deeper with Dave. Deeper with Dave. Oh, yeah.
Sponsored by...
So we were talking behind the scenes. We actually figured out that Michael and Joe got in a fight at the park when they were 10 years old. They broke each other's noses. Yeah, makes sense. So, man, this is it. No, but listen, this is good stuff, Michael. What I'm hearing here, I hear some like mid-90s alt rock in your sound. Only listened to a couple tunes, but vocal styling, dude, I'm going back to Jackson Browne. Has anyone ever said that to you?
No, but that's a great compliment. Thank you.
I mean, do you hear it? I hear it in there. I'm just like, got to be somebody's baby. I was going back to like mid 70s, just some of that style from that era.
Brother, I've got so many influences going on all over the place with my other music too. I tell my wife all the time, every time I write a new one, I can hear a different influence in it.
Yeah, and that's cool, dude. It's like a lot. I mean, you said you've been writing for, a couple decades, so all these different genres just kind of over time, they all seep in. Then you just write naturally, and I've gone through that process myself, and I've struggled to even classify it myself. They're like, "What is it? Like, what kind of music?" I'm like, "Dude, every tune is different. There's like a dozen different genres in there. It's just it kind of happens naturally. It's like rarely do you sit down. It's like, all right, I'm going to focus on country this song and try and sound like, Willie Nelson or something. I mean, it happens, but
it's so hard to do that though, right? I mean, you can't really say I'm going to write a country song and sit down and write a country song.
Well, some people try, but this is just my opinion. I feel like that comes through when you listen, like it sounds contrived,
right?
The music, and often it makes it to the radio and sells 1 million copies and win awards. Sometimes it goes that far, but
hell do we know, right?
Yeah. All right. So interesting. I just found out, as you just said a couple minutes ago, I know a bunch of guys like this where they didn't start recording until, late 40s, 50, or even older, because they just made that conscious decision. I'm going to, I got a family, got kids, got to pay the bills and just focus on doing that. And the creative time is so small in that life for a couple decades. And then it starts to open up, and then they just go on this prolific, massive rush of releasing like 10, 20, 50 songs. Like my buddy John over at Adam Collector Records, man, it's the same thing. He's 50 and he's like, he did the exact same story, what you just said, but man, was it painful holding this back all the time?
Well, I mean, I kept it in my life. I mean, obviously it's kind of impossible to get rid of it. It's in your head swimming around there all the time. So you kind of, anyway, over the years, even with kids, would still write and still record. I recorded my first song in 1977.
Oh, so you did record. What, did you put it on like 4-track or something?
Oh, yeah, we had an old Fostex 4-tracker.
Sure. Okay.
That's how I learned how to record, and then I recorded my first studio song in 1979 in Indianapolis, and it was, a production. It was produced, and it sounded fantastic. We thought, and of course, we all thought we were going to be superstars.
When you get those 4 tracks completed, oh, dude, I remember. It's like, oh, it's so awesome! Look at this, 2 instruments at once.
Yeah, the ping pong. Yeah, ping pong.
But was it really? Did I really just say what it is, Michael? Did you just kind of turn it off and keep it dormant just because of the time issue, or was it like that you didn't feel you were ready to release a professional album?
Well, when you have priorities, money is always the priority, and in this business, it's really tough to make money. And so if someone would have walked up to me and said, "Hey, here's 250 grand as an investment. We want you to just do nothing but write songs," I would have been doing that. But,
sure. Common sense. Yeah.
Yeah. I wasn't ready, to be honest with you. I mean, now the music I'm putting out now is so much more complex and so much more deep and soulful.
Yeah, man. I mean, with the computer, with the software and everything, and these 100-channel mixing boards, it's the world is your oyster, man. The only limitation is your own brain. It's pretty crazy.
Pretty much.
All right. So there's a mystery of the man of many websites. So we got Michael Wayne Stapleton, his full name.com is his website. You can see his last couple albums up there and his bio and everything. He's got livinglyric.us? No, .com. He's just kind of like blanketing the internet so people can find him in different sections. But what else? Oh, so social media. Are you on there as well?
Oh, yeah. We got Twitter. I think we're connected on Twitter with you guys. And
what's the handle?
Michael's Muzak, Muzak.
Okay. Same handle like everywhere? All right, perfect, man. Well, dude, you know what, man? You should definitely come back. Cause so with featured artists, we asked them to come back and be critics for the other artists. So, man, Joe will hit you up, and you should definitely come back and be a critic on one of our future shows, man.
Would love to, brother. Would love to.